Good morning, 8th standard students. Today we're taking up a new topic in grammar which is regarding the time. Okay, how do you ask and how do you tell the time in French? So let's begin. It's a little introduction to help you understand how we tell the time in French. Okay, so in English, when we're talking about time, we tend to leave out this o'clock. The actual way of saying time is it's 7 o'clock. Okay, or it's 4 o'clock. But in English, we just tend to say it's 7 or it's 4. Okay, we just leave out that o'clock, which is not right, but it passes in English. Now in French, the equivalent of a clock is heure. Okay, can you see this word here? H-E-U-R-E-S, heure is the same thing as a clock in English. Okay, so just like in English we leave out a clock, in French you cannot do that. Okay, so for every single timing you will find this word heure compulsorily. Okay, for every timing of the day this heure will be there whether you like it or not, except for two. Okay, that is midi, which is noon, and minuit, which is midnight. Okay, so for these two timings you will not find the word heure. For all the rest, heure will be there. Why not? Because in English also we don't say it's noon o'clock or it's midnight o'clock, right? So same way in French we leave out heure for these two particular timings. Second point you need to be cognizant of is the fact that in English we have a 12-hour clock, right? We go from 1, 2, 3 till 11, 12, and then we circle back to 1. Okay. Now, how do we distinguish between whether it's morning or evening if we have only 12 hours in our clock? We use these two signs, AM and PM. Okay. AM indicates the morning hours, PM indicates the evening hours. Right? This is how we distinguish between morning and evening when we have two ones in the day, right? We have 1 AM, we have 1 PM, we have 10 AM, 10 PM. We know the difference because of this AM and PM. Now in French, the better way of doing it is to follow the 24-hour clock. Okay, since there is a way to do it using the 12-hour clock, but the preferable way is to follow the 24-hour clock. Now, what do I mean by 24-hour clock? From 1 o'clock in the morning, you go to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, so on and so forth till you reach 10 o'clock in the morning. So after 10 o'clock in the morning, you go to 11 o'clock, then you come to 12, which is noon. Okay, and afternoon, what happens? You don't go to 1 p.m. In the normal 12-hour clock, you go to 1 p.m., then you go 2 p.m. and so on. Okay, but in a 24-hour clock, you will go to 13, 14, 15, and so on till you reach 23, which is actually 11 p.m., and 24, which is midnight. Okay, so there you see in the 24-hour clock, there is no use of the AM and PM because the moment it crosses 12, okay, 12 onwards, we know that it is in the afternoon and then in the evening and then in the night time. Okay, so there is no use of words to indicate time of the day. Now, you need to learn how to ask the question, what is the time? Okay, what is the time is quelle est l'heure? Quelle est l'heure is the question for what is the time. Okay, quelle est l'heure? What is the time? So now, it's far simpler to ask the question than to answer it, because to answer it there's a lot of technicalities that we need to go through. So let's do it. Your answer for the time will always start with these two words. Okay, il est. It is. Now il here is not he. Okay, il is it for when you're talking about the time. Okay, it is, and then what comes after il est, you need to pay a little attention to understand. Okay, so for midnight and for noon, it is fixed. Okay, you cannot change this. For midnight, you have to say il est minuit because minuit is midnight. It is fixed. Okay, this you have to learn by heart. Second one also noon. When you want to say it is noon, okay, you have to say il est midi because midi is fixed. Remember, for these two, there is no use of heure. You don't have to write heure. Okay, for all the other timings of the day, that heure is compulsory. Now the next thing that you need to do is timings on the hour. Now when I say timings on the hour, it is anything 0, 0. Okay, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 14 o'clock, and so on. Okay, so When I say 14 o'clock, I mean 2 p.m. in the afternoon, okay, with the 24-hour clock. So any timing when it is 00 minutes, that is called timings on the hour. Okay, so for 1 a.m. it is il est une heure. You have to put the number and the word heure. Now for 1, it will obviously be singular. Okay, for the rest of them, as you go from 2 onwards, this will get an S here because you're adding on numbers. Okay, this is singular. The rest will all be plural. So 2 a.m. will be il est 2 heures, and 3 a.m. will be il est 3 heures. Okay, then as you go on and on and on, you'll reach it is 11 a.m. will be il est 11 heures. Okay, it is 11 o'clock. Then when you reach 12 p.m., which will be noon time, right? So you'll have to say il est midi. Now what happens after midi? You don't circle back to 1 p.m. Okay, you go into the next number. So from 12 you go to the next number. You don't come back to 1. Okay, you have to go to the next number, because remember, there is no am pm. This is 13 actually o'clock. Okay, 14 actually it's 14 o'clock. Okay, there's no am pm. So after 12 p.m., that is your midday, you circle right back to 13. You carry on with the numbers. Okay, so it will be il est 13 which is actually 13 minus 1 p.m. Sorry, 13 minus 12 p.m. which is 1 p.m. Okay, then 2 p.m. you have to add 12. Okay, whenever it's p.m. you have to add 12 to the number, and you'll get the number which you have to put here. Okay, il est 14. If you had to say it is 9 p.m., what would you do? You have to add 12 to this, becomes 21. Okay, so you would have to say il est 21 heures. Okay, remember to put an S here for all the numbers except 1. Okay, so this is how you get your timings on the hour. Remember the moment you cross uh, 12, that is midday, noon, you have to keep adding 12 to the 12 o'clock. Okay, so 1 p.m. becomes 1 plus 12, 13. Say you want to talk about 4 p.m. becomes 4 plus 12, 16, and so on. Okay, so this is how you do timings on the hour. We'll continue with this topic in the second part, where we learn how to talk about timings in between, like 15 minutes, half an hour, and so on. Till then, thank you.